Just before the video starts, guys, if you're grinding CS2 and you feel like you're stuck or just not improving the way you want, this is for you. I put together a full course designed to help you hit 3k elo. As you guys know, I've spent years competing and coaching players at all levels. I've worked one-on-one with people who are hard stuck, and I've helped them break through by focusing on the stuff that actually matters. In this course, I'll give you the super specific practical advice you need, like the optimal sensitivity range, a training routine, desk height depending on your sensitivity, optimal tone of voice so your teammates actually listen to you in your pug, and other specific stuff like this. We'll also cover how to set up your game optimally, mechanics, communication, everything you need to learn to be 3k elo. When I designed this course, I wanted to make it so I could just pretty much speedrun you to 3k elo as fast as I could. Basically get rid of a bunch of the trial and error that comes with it. It's pretty much everything I wish I knew when I was climbing, so go check it out in the description below. 2 months ago, I lost the most important CS game of my life. It was a BO3 to qualify for the Austin Major tournament. Although we only had like 15 days to prep with our new roster, and although I performed alright, I felt like I needed something more. So during that tournament, I was using 1.53 at 400 DPI. Now, for about 2 months up until that point, I've been thinking about upping my sense. But with those big quals coming up, I thought it was best not to and to just stick with it. Now, the day after the tournament, I decided to switch to 2 at 400 DPI, and I said to my teammate, I'm switching for 6 months. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I'm like complete like dog shit aim. I'm just switching for 6 months. 2 months in, it's been one of the best decisions I've kind of ever made in terms of CS. First thing I'm going to talk about is the lower sense trap. So this is something I fell into. If you guys know, I made a video a while back talking about upping your sense because all the pros had a higher sense for CS2. They kind of like upped their sense, or all the like good pros were using kind of a higher sense. And I was on a higher sense because of this. This was at the start of like last year, and about a few months in, I was playing like boot camps. I was in like Latvia playing with my team, and I've kept like switching setups, and I felt like super uncomfortable just always switching setups on like a higher sense. I would go to the boot camp, and then it would feel like too high because maybe the PC has like lower FPS, and then I'd like change it, and then that would just like create a spiral, and then I just eventually just lower, and then that's why I got down to 1.53. I was playing great on it, and it felt comfortable. I felt fine, but I did feel like there were situations where I could have done better if I just had a higher sense, right? But I didn't want to change it right before like this kind of major qualifications because I felt comfortable on it, and I didn't want to just change it and then feel like a complete bot. But obviously right after the tournament, there's only another big tournament for another 6 months, so I was like, screw it, and I changed it, and it's the best thing ever. So one thing you guys need to get into your head is that like changing sense needs to be like a 6-month thing. So when you change your sense, you freaking change it, and you do not do anything else with it. If your sense is too low or maybe too high, maybe you're at like 400, a lot of like newer players start out, just change it and just switch it and just don't move it. Like you look at pros like Simple, who's back now, they barely change their sensitivity or not at all. Like Rops, they've all been on their senses for like years and years, and they're super consistent on them. You see all the people who change the sense, like I've seen Valorant people who change the sense, they're just inconsistent, and it makes sense. Like I think that people make arguments, oh, you need to change your sense so your like muscle memory is like updated, but I don't believe in any of that shit. Like just switch your sense and make it for 6 months. Every time I've like changed my sense a few times, anything less than like 4 to 6 months, it's just been a bad decision. And then what happens is you just get focused on like your sense, and you stop thinking about like the macro and all the other aspects of CS, like the macro understanding, so like how people are playing, how my opponents are playing. Instead, I'm in game just thinking about how I just whiffed a shot and how I like underflick, so I need to put my sense up. No, like your muscle memory isn't used to flicking to that like point because you just changed your sense like 2 days ago. Not that your sense is like too low or too high because you underflicked or overflicked. I see people saying this online. It's like, no, like everyone, you'll underflick and overflick all the time, but you need to just switch to a sense and stay at the same sense. And that's how you avoid underflicking, overflicking, because you're used to that sense, right? Like none of these pros, like Donk, they're not switching their sense. He's just been on the same sense for years, and he doesn't really underflick or overflick, not because his sense is too high or too low. It's because he's just super used to it, and his muscle memory understands it, and it takes a while to adjust to it. So you guys are probably thinking, oh, if I switch to the sense, I might be bad. It literally took me 2 weeks, and my sense felt the same as 1.5. So the way that like my mouse felt on 1.5 felt exactly the same as on 2. within 2 weeks. So for the first 2 weeks, it felt nice actually, pretty fast after the first like day or two. But for the first 2 weeks, like I screamed Vitality, they were in Australia, and I did really good. But my sense felt super high because when you have a bit of adrenaline or whatever, like your sense feels a bit higher. But that's completely fine. Just mess with it. Like you see so many people with super high sense walk sick, just flicking around a bit. You can be a bit flicky and maybe over flick a few times, but that's your body adjusting. Eventually it will adjust. It took me 2 weeks. Maybe it'll take you a bit longer. That's fine, but it won't take any more than a month, and you'll feel like literally my sense felt like 1.5. Like there's such a big difference, 0.5 difference at 400, but it felt the exact same as 1.5. It felt that slow because my muscles adjusted to it, my muscle memory adjusted, and it felt like the same speed. So what I've learned is kind of every sense feels similar once you actually get used to it, but people who just change all the time never get used to it. So then the sense just, you might play good for a day because of the honeymoon period of like, you'll have like a honeymoon period of sense if you guys have ever changed it, where it feels really good for a day but then it completely falls off. You need to go past that honeymoon period and go to the point of like a month in where your body is adjusted to it and you're good. So what have I found is actually better? Everything, like crosshair placement, flicks, reactions, literally everything. Like before, if I didn't have my crosshair in the right place and they like peaked up here on the screen, I wouldn't be able to flick to them. It was pretty much over. Now I can like flick and like kill. My crosshair placement feels so much better. I feel more inclined to entry because I can just like flick around to angles and clear things faster. It's just better overall, and it took me like too long after switching to the low sense to come back to high. Like it took me like months, and it was just because, you know, I was afraid that it would take too long to switch, or maybe it would just feel like high the whole time. It doesn't. Like you get super used to it. Just give it 1 month and just switch. I said 6 months after that, like major loss, and it's been great for the last 2 months, and I'm not going to switch off to probably for years now. So it's been one of the best changes I've made. I think you guys should all try this. If it's low, if you're at 1 point, anything below kind of 1.7, you should just up it to 2. Just do it now. Trust me, you'll be better for it. And yeah, just listen to me, guys. Trust me on this one. It's been tried. Changing your sense all the time is bad. 6 months. Just stick to the sense and you'll be all good. So thanks for watching, guys. Check out the course and my coaching in the description if you need any help with anything in this video or anything I've talked about. And I'll see you guys in the next video.